Alright, so let's look at this example here, finding the derivative of a function using the definition. Got about 8 examples I'm going to work. This is the 8th one. These are the other examples here. This is each example has its own video, so this would be video 1, 2, 3, all the way down to video 8, so you can check those out. Alright, so let's get started. So the derivative of f is this function f prime of x is equal to the limit as h goes to 0 of f of x plus h minus f of x, all that over h. Alright, so let's look at this example here. And I know right now it looks like this is the last one. If I can run across another function I think might be good, I'll do it. I'll make another video. Alright, so let's go ahead and write down the formula. So we've got f prime of x. I don't need to write f prime. Let's just write the limit as h goes to 0, f of x plus h minus f of x, all that over h. Alright, so this is what we have to calculate. So I get f prime of x is equal to the limit as h goes to 0. So this is f of x plus h. So wherever there's an x, I'm going to put the x plus h. So this will be x plus h to the 3 halves minus f of x. Well, f of x is just x to the 3 halves over h. Alright, so let's look at this. Well, to simplify this, I think we're probably going to need to do, let's see, limit h goes to 0. Let's rewrite this in radical form. So that's going to be the square root of x plus h cubed minus the square root of x cubed. Remember remember that property a to the m over n is equal to the nth root of a to the m, or you could write a to the m over n is the nth root of a, all that to the m. I chose to put the exponent underneath. Alright, and then this is all over h. Alright, so let's look at this. So I need to get rid of the square roots. So what we'll do is, you remember college algebra, you had something like this, and you would rationalize the denominator, right, by multiplying by the conjugate. Well, that's what we'll do here. We'll rationalize the numerator. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to multiply by the square root of x plus h cubed plus the square root of x cubed over square root x plus h cubed plus the square root of x cubed. Now remember here, this is what? This is a minus b times a plus b, which is equal to a squared minus b squared. So in this case, we've got, let's see, equals the limit as h goes to 0. So here's a, so that's the square root x plus h cubed squared minus the square root of x cubed squared. Okay, see there's a squared minus, well, not that minus, but minus b squared. Okay, and that is all over h times the square root of x plus h cubed plus the square root of x cubed. Alright, so that gives us, that's going to be x plus h cubed. So we square the square root, we get just what's underneath the square root, minus x cubed over h times, and that's going to be the square root of x plus h cubed plus the square root of x cubed. Alright, so what we've got to do now is see, we've got to multiply this out. So what I think I'm going to do is, let's just come down here, x plus h cubed. Alright, so remember that's x plus h times x plus h times x plus h. Okay, so I'm going to just multiply this down here and then we'll just write it in. Alright, so that's going to be, alright, so if I multiply these two, that gives me x squared plus 2xh plus h squared times x plus h, and then this, multiply the x times each one and then the h times each one, so that's x cubed plus 2x squared h plus xh squared plus x squared h plus 2xh squared plus h cubed. Okay, so I fold this and got this, and then I multiplied the x times each term and then the h times each term. Alright, so I'm going to get the limit as h goes to 0, and then this we multiplied out down here, that is x cubed plus 2x squared h plus xh squared plus x squared h plus 2xh squared plus h cubed, and then that's minus x cubed, all that over h times, and then that's going to be the square root x plus h cubed plus the square root of x cubed. Alright, so let me get this out of the way. Alright, so let's see. Well, it looks like the x cubes, that's the only one that's going to cancel out. And so that's going to be the limit as h goes to 0. So let's see. There's an x squared h. There's an x squared h. So that's going to be 3x squared h. So let's get those out. And then we've got, oh, I'm sorry, x squared h is what I'm, okay, well, let's see, now we can multiply the xh squared and the 2xh squared. So that's going to be plus 3x. That's going to be plus 3xh squared. And then, okay, so that one gets canceled out. And then we've got plus h cubed. And that's all over h times square root x plus h cubed plus square root of x cubed. Alright, so now we can factor out h, and so that's going to give us, let's see, that's going to be the limit as h goes to 0 of, let's see, that's going to be 3, oh, I'm going to factor out h, so that's 3x squared plus 3xh plus h squared over h times, and that's going to be square root x plus h cubed plus, and then that's going to be x cubed. Alright, so the h's cancel out, so we're left with the limit as h goes to 0 of 3x squared plus 3xh plus h squared over, and that's going to be square root x plus h cubed plus the square root of x cubed. And so now we plug the h in, the 0 in for h, so that is 3x squared plus 3x times 0 plus 0 squared over the square root of x plus 0 cubed plus the square root of x cubed. So that's going to be 3x squared over the square root of x cubed, which is this, plus the square root of x cubed. Alright, so that will give us 3x squared over 2 square root of x cubed. Alright, so I know if you're, if you know the power rule already for this, then you would know that the derivative is 3/2 x to the 1/2. Bring the 3/2 down, then subtract 1 from the exponent, you get this. And I know when you look at this over down here, it looks nothing like that. Well, let me show you. So if we multiply numerator and denominator, okay, well, let's just do this. We know that we can take the square root of x cubed, and that's the square root of x squared times x, which is x square root of x. Okay, so well, let's just rewrite this. That's 3x squared over 2x square root of x, and then we rationalize the denominator. See that? Alright, so that's going to be 3x squared square root of x over 2, and then square root of x times square root of x, this is x, and then x times x is x squared. See, the x squareds cancel, and we're left with 3/2 times the square root of x, which is 3/2 x to the 1/2. Okay, so I mean, I don't know, your teacher wants you to do this or leave it in this form. I don't know, you might want to ask them, but there's that problem. Hope it helped. Check out my other videos. Give me a like, share, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.